welcome to Chuck's Culture Channel, your YouTube home for a lively conversation on the lively arts in St. Louis and beyond. And my guest this time around is Kimille Howard. She's a New York-based director, deviser, writer, and filmmaker. She is an assistant stage director at the Metropolitan Opera in New York and is the stage director for the 2024 New Works Collective at Opera Theater St. Louis, which is going to be performed on March 14th through 16th, 2024 at the place right behind me, the Kirkwood Performing Arts Center here in St. Louis. New Works Collective is an evening of 3 brand new 20-minute operas by 3 brand new composer librettist teams selected from a pool of 130 applicants by a panel of St. Louis artists, advocates, and community leaders. Check the links in the video description field below to learn more about opera theater, the New Works Collective, and the many projects of Kimille Howard. And now, on with the interview. Okay, so here we are with Kimille Howard, and we're going to talk about the New Works Collective at Opera Theater. But first, I think we ought to get to know a little bit about you, because you are new along with everybody else connected with this show, at least as far as St. Louisans are concerned.
Yeah, so I'm a stage director for opera theater and screen work. I've been directing since 2012 in New York, from Carmel, Indiana, to Loyola University of Chicago, and now I'm here in St. Louis.
So what was your background in? I mean, I didn't check to see like what's your degree in, what have you done before, things like that.
Yeah, so I was a theater and film major in undergrad with a focus on acting for the stage and directing for screen. And my interest shifted to pretty exclusively directing during my undergrad experience. And after a stint of working at Disney for 2 years, to New York, and started interning and assisting and directing small things out there in theater primarily. And worked my way up, climbing the ladder. And in 2019, I made my Broadway debut assistant directing on Ain't Too Proud. And then after that, went on to become an assistant stage director at the Met on Porgy and Bess, which is actually how I became connected with Jim Robinson, who's the artistic director of Opera Theater St. Louis. So that was sort of the connective tissue that got me to where I am here at OTS.
Okay. Now, I know you're deep in final week of rehearsals for the New Works Collective. We're recording this on March 7th, so it opens in a week. So let's talk about the 3 operas that make up the New Works Collective this time around. What's the first one?
Yeah, so the first one is Unbroken, which is about a family coping with the revelation that there is an impending death in the family, and navigating the preparation for that transition. So.
Okay. I mean, what is the music like for this? How would you describe it? Because I assume you've had a chance to hear some of it now.
Yeah, I would say, there's this element of nostalgia to it, and very pensive and highly emotional, just channeling the different moments of tension, and grappling with grief. It's very powerful in the way that it expresses what is going on internally for the characters.
Okay, so basically it's a family drama, and it's about a situation that many of us, I think, would probably find familiar, especially as we get older.
Yes.
And so that's the first one. And then after that, what?
We have Mechanisms, which is about a family navigating the new challenge of discovering that their child is neurodivergent.
Okay.
And that child experiencing the world. We experience the world through the character of Rose's eyes, and how she processes things like math and color, and see how other people receive or react to the way she walks through the world. And, there's some adapting and understanding that is required to, accept who she is and meet her where she's at.
So we get to see it from the point of view of the neurodivergent child, so we can kind of see how she approaches the world.
Right. It fluctuates between the perspective of the parents and the perspective of the daughter.
How would you describe the music for this?
The music is reflective of the different world views of the piece, in terms of like, you hear the way the music, there's a music that reflects the tension and the internal conflict of what's happening with the parents. Mm-hmm. And there's an element of exploration and curiosity and wonder coming from the music of Ro, of the 11-year-old girl in the piece. And then when we are in the classroom, there's definitely a sense of chaos and tension and fractured energy in the piece. And, I believe there's an arc to it, in the sense that by the end, there's a bit more cohesion between the different perspectives, as understanding becomes, as there's an expression under understanding and acceptance.
Yeah. Okay. So there's some sort of an arc there. We understand where they're going.
Yeah.
And then your third opera.
On My Mind is a piece about two Black creators, women creators, a librettist and a composer, both Texas-based. We're getting ready to go to a music makers conference. And when they get to the conference, they experience a number of microaggressions. And there's also this motif, this conversation about like can you make new friends after 30? Or is true friendship after 30 achievable with new people? And at the conference, they experience these microaggressions from these different people at the conference, who are all just trying to network, and in some cases being a little insensitive, comedically though. And then they sort of, it's a bit of a platonic romance of sorts. They discover each other at the conference, and there's this blossoming friendship and this renewed hope about the possibilities of friendship, of new and true friendship at their age.
And I think this is something that, again, a lot of us have gone through. A lot of the people watching this now probably have. You're thrown into, like you said, a professional networking situation, and the people you're interacting with could be rivals. They could be allies. Not really sure. Mm-hmm. How do you navigate those waters? And in fact, it sounds like, I was going to say, given the business that you're in, this is probably something that I think would have some personal resonance for you.
Oh, absolutely. I experienced my first conference recently, and I was like, oh, yeah. Especially the part about like the aggressive networking and like, are these sincere connections? Like, will we actually speak with one another after this weekend? And the true friendship thing, especially in our industry, because, with as a freelance director, I bounce around to different cities and work with different artists. And, this is my third production in 2024 so far. And like, over these 3 productions, you become really close and almost familial, like with the people that you in a process. Ideally, of course, it doesn't always go that way. But, and it's these brief encounters, these brief platonic love affairs. And then when you go your separate ways after closing, or in my case, the director doesn't often stay past opening.
Right.
Then it's like, we were texting with each other and chatting and like bearing our souls to one another in these 2 weeks. And then we don't talk to each other or like that often after we get home and back to our normal lives. And and so it's like, well, hopefully we'll see each other again, and it'll be the same or better or worse, whatever. But like their continuity is tough.
Is it a comedy, a drama, a little of both?
comedy, yeah, which is
Okay.
exciting in the sense that I just don't feel like there's a lot of new operas out there that are comedic. It's all very pensive and heavy, and like, and not to say that there isn't anything pensive or relevant about this piece. It's extremely important and relevant. I just think it's really refreshing to do something where I'm like, I can make the audience laugh. And it's like contemporary. It's just fun.
Yeah. Now your background's largely in theater, but obviously you've done opera. One of your other job right now is with a Met.
Right. Yeah. Well, actually, it's funny. Most of my work since lockdown has been opera, actually.
Okay.
So, yes, I do. I have done and continue to do theater. That is my background. And I bounce between both, but opera has been dominating my calendar these past 4 years. And yes, so as I said earlier, I assisted Jim Robinson. I was one of the assistant stage directors on the Porgy and Bess production.
Yeah.
And then post-pandemic, I came back for the remount of that, and then the remount of the David McVicker Tosca. And then last season, I assisted on Champion for.
Oh yeah, yeah, right.
And the new production of Die Zauberflöte by Simon McBurney.
Okay. Wow. So you've been all over the place stylistically. Now, obviously, we're recording this in anticipation of the New Works Collective, but it's going to be on YouTube for probably forever. There's a good chance that you out there, as you're watching this, are seeing this sometime after the New Works Collective is closed. So let's talk a little bit about some of the other things you have upcoming after this is over, because you're very busy, obviously.
Yeah, so I'm about to direct The Passion of Mary Cardwell Dawson at Pittsburgh Opera in April. This will be my 5th time directing it. We had the world premiere at Glimmerglass in 2021 that summer, and then we did it again in 2022 in Glimmerglass, and then it was at the Kennedy Center, and then I just did it at Opera Carolina last month, and so my 5th time it'll be at Pittsburgh Opera, and then I'm directing a new grand opera for Cincinnati Opera called Lalo Bobby. It was actually just last week, and we're doing a workshop in May that will have people are able to come to the final presentation of that on May 13th. It'll be a reading presentation, but the production will be happening in June of 2025.
Oh.
And I'm in 2 corners for Finger Lakes Opera in June. Yes, June of this year. So those are the few big ones that are coming up, and then those are all that you think of.
You don't have to think of them all now, because, of course, in the video description field right down here, I will have a link to your website and to anything else that's relevant, so people can just go there and find out.
Okay, cool. That sounds great.
Oh, thank you so much for taking some time out of your schedule. I know it's very busy right now, but thanks for taking a few minutes to tell us about yourself and what's going on with opera theater. Anything else you want to mention here before I turn off the recorder?
Oh, well, I do really hope that we will have new faces to opera at our production. I think these 3 operas are very relevant and accessible stories, and a great gateway for folks who have never experienced opera, especially, wanting to see people that look like them or that relate to. They're diverse stories with a diverse body, company of performers, singers. And so I just encourage people who've never been to an opera before to give it a try with us at Opera Theater St. Louis next weekend.
By all means, folks, go see the New Works Collective. And in any case, if that's over by the time you're watching this, check out and see what else our guest is working on right now, because you've got lots of stuff going on. Kimille Howard, thanks for taking the time to talk once again, and we will see you later.
Thanks so much for having me.
You're welcome. And everybody out there, spread the word about Chuck's Culture Channel. I don't take ads, so this is my only chance to get the word out. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.